How frequently have you heard older women say, "I know my worth on dating apps. I don't have time for games, so I'm looking for a man to settle down with. I want to find something serious." Those are typically the words of a woman who has spent decades living her best life or concentrating on her career and is now looking for a good man to save her from dying on her own. Women in their mid-30s use older dating apps in the hope of finding a man who can breathe, has some stability, and will eventually marry them and be their retirement plan. But what they don't know is that men their age have been so badly burned by divorces, fights over child support, bad marriages, and a lot of rejections for decades that they have learned to play the game and won't get married to a woman. Older women used to be able to find men who would marry them, because men were naive about women in the legal system when most women weren't on these streets. However, men began to realize that what was going on was a lie when they observed their beloved wives turning against their friends and relatives in the family courts because they were unhappy and for the sake of money. And a few years later, the men who decided to go their own way started the movement, which helped older women who thought they would always have their cleanup man on hand. Even though they don't attract nearly as much attention now as they did in their younger years, older women still receive validation and attention from men on dating apps. The issue that older women are having is that they are beginning to realize the error and are following the womanist movement's doctrine that men are no longer committing crimes. They were informed that a man would always be present later on while they were sipping the womanist Kool-Aid. Therefore, early commitment to a man is not a priority. Before you settle down, focus on your job or career while having as many adventures as possible. And what decision did these women make? In the hope of acquiring all of them for themselves, they decided to put stable men on the back burner and follow the men they wanted. But that didn't go as planned because the rise of dating apps and social media marked the beginning of meetup culture as we know it and the gradual end of dating and relationships. Older women wouldn't have been on dating apps, struggling to find a man who would commit to them or even remembering who started the meetup culture in the first place if there hadn't been one. The woman, not the men, were to blame. Because they wanted to have fun and get the men they wanted, single women destroyed the future of dating for themselves and future generations. Therefore, I would ask these older women who contributed to the end of dating whether it was worth it. The sad thing is that the same women who contributed to the end of relationships and dating are now complaining about all the good men on dating apps. After following in their mother's footsteps of failure, their daughters, who are now in their late 20s to early to mid-30s, are in the same boat. They are looking for a good man with whom to get married. Due to the dangers of divorce, none of those men are attempting to settle down. Furthermore, no man wants to marry a woman with too much experience, because the other men they like did not have wives or girlfriends who were just dating them. Men do not want one. Additionally, men are no longer willing to put their retirement savings at risk for a woman who is only interested in acquiring everything the man has worked so hard to achieve. Additionally, a growing number of older women are beginning to realize that men have developed the ability to live without them and thrive in solitude. At one time, the older women you see on dating apps today were strong, independent, and didn't need a man. They complain constantly and try to block out negative energy. And I want you to keep in mind that these women had a long window of opportunity to try to change their destructive ways and possibly find a decent man. Never lose sight of the fact that many of these women were previously married and believed they could outsmart their husbands. As a result, they returned to the dating scene after betraying their husbands and thinking that since he had a top-tier man to themselves, they would cut the line of available women. However, the reality is frequently cruel. Therefore, you should never attempt to rescue any of these women or feel sorry for them, because they willingly put themselves in that position in the hope of obtaining a larger and better deal. Additionally, wealthy men can choose to date younger, more fertile women than older women. So why would men choose to date an older woman when they can date women who are still in their prime? Women are selling themselves online for, as Coach Greg Adams would put it, a fistful of the 20s, especially in today's economic climate, when we are due for another recession and time is getting harder. Therefore, why would a man pay more money to have a woman who is physically worse off and is desperate for a meaningless commitment? Also, keep in mind that women are the ones who brought this on themselves by divorcing their husbands to live their lives to the fullest. Therefore, you should never feel any sympathy for any of these women. Always use your veins only for practice and keep them cold. You become desperate by committing to an older woman who has spent decades giving her time and body to multiple men and has overlooked you as a viable option when they were in their prime. Additionally, women in those age groups will divorce you and sue you because they do not consider themselves to be wife material and are only interested in a retirement plan. When older women are lavishing you with attention on these dating apps, you need to exercise caution. Keep in mind that when they were younger, they would make fun of you by ignoring and disrespecting you. So why do they see you as a good option now that they are older? They are merely attempting to deceive you. They don't care about you. All they want from you right now is money and maybe a child. Don't forget that I could continue to talk about the difficulties women face when using dating apps, but instead, I'll let them tell you what it's like to date on these apps. Let's get started on this Guardian article. Online dating leaves middle-aged women in a single wilderness is the title of this article. A relationship specialist in Agony's aunt, Susan Cullum, stated that some women were suffering. Men can choose their age range on online dating sites. They are also much more eager to start a new relationship and much less likely to give someone another chance, which may appear to be rude, but they are much more likely to fall in love very quickly. For men, you need to meet the requirements. Women are more apprehensive. It's a pity. Men target younger women because women between the ages of 45 and 55 are likely to be more mature and able to provide more pleasure than, for example, women under 25. Therefore, you can see for yourself on dating apps that older women are not preferred over younger women. Isn't that shocking? Who was unable to anticipate this? However, once more, they did this to themselves. Don't feel bad for them. Then, let's move on. Match.com research reveals that dating can be difficult when children are at a premium, making it especially challenging for divorced women to find love again. She also has to get pregnant because she can't find a man with whom she can start a family. Additionally, as previously stated, do not harbor any pity or sympathy for these individuals. She didn't say how she lived her best life on the carousel or how many men she turned down who wanted to have a family, but we know she wasn't at home waiting for a good man the whole time. Live the life of a free agent. If you choose to date older women, you'll win that way. The army is currently winning with monk mode men who followed their path. Even if you dare to become weak. If you don't continue down the path toward becoming a free agent, you will, I swear, come to regret the decision in the future.